Hey, welcome to the video. In this one, I want to break down how you can set up Instagram ads really simply and the flow in which you set them up so you can start signing clients consistently on the platform. So I speak to a lot of people who get pretty good traction on LinkedIn or Facebook doing organic marketing, and it's good for getting one-to-one clients. It's good for keeping their business stable, getting to that six-figure mark, but they're not really able to scale things further. They're not able to really fill the group programs that they want to fill, and so they keep kind of falling back into selling the one-to-one programs. So I want to break down the ad framework that I've used for the last 8 years. It's in my own businesses, it's generated multiple six figures, but in client businesses, it's generated over $30 million. I've run this on over 500 accounts now, and really the framework is quite simple. Now, there's three things that we want to look at when it comes to advertising. We want to look at what's called top of funnel. So this is where you are finding people who are new to your world, right? They've never heard of you before, and you are putting content in the form of an ad in front of them, okay? So if you think about your ad as just another piece of content that you're posting on your Instagram, except you're using that content to reach a lot more people that you're in control of, right? You control the budget. So what I usually do with clients is I get them to film 2 to 3 videos. And what we do is we script this out based on market research. So this isn't just guesswork. This is looking at what people want in the marketplace. This is what, people are telling them on sales calls. It's what clients are saying when they're onboarding. So these videos are really important to be scripted in the right way, so we're attracting the right people, because you could say the wrong thing, generate leads, and they're just not good quality leads because they're not really aligned with your message. And so these 3 videos, what we want to do is we want to share our message so that people understand straight away what we are an expert in, how we can help them close the gap on their goals. Because right now your audience, they have a problem, maybe they have quite a few problems, but there's kind of 1 or 2 things that you are like really kind of dialing in with the ads specifically. You're talking about that, you're talking about the results they can get, and they're listening to you because naturally it opens a loop in their mind. Like, how can this person help me solve this problem and get to, the desired outcome that I want? And so that's what the purpose of these ads are. And what we do is we can either set them up as a new follower ad. So we're getting people to come to the page or come to your Instagram profile and follow your account. It's pretty straightforward. The other thing we can do is go straight in and say, if you have a lead magnet, you can say, hey, DM me this word, and I will send over this lead magnet, right? So it could be a guide, it could be a PDF, it could be a video training, it could be a video series or crash course, like whatever it is, it has to be something that people actually want. So again, that ties back into market research, because we don't want to just guess and just slap something together for the sake of it. That's a mistake I see a lot of people make, is like they'll just rush something together for the sake of, running an ad. But really, you want to be looking at what people actually want. You can use things like SEO to look at that, and search terms on YouTube and Google. You can even do that on Instagram and TikTok. You can look at search terms as well. And then you want to think about your expertise and how you're able to share your protocol or your methodology of people within this lead magnet, right? So people are either following your page or they're messaging you a keyword to get into access to that lead magnet. And then you can have a conversation with them, and you can also get their email in that conversation and send them to your email. So that's really powerful. Next, what we want to do is we want to take them to what's called our middle of funnel. Now, there's kind of a couple of things that are happening here. One, if they've started engaging with you, they've started following your content, they're going to see your ongoing content. So they're going to see things like your stories. If you're writing or putting videos out, they're going to see your ongoing stories. So it's a really fast way to build rapport with people. They're going to see your ongoing content on your news feed. So maybe you're posting a few reels a week. A strategy I think that is pretty simple and straightforward to follow is 2 reels a week and 1 carousel post. Carousel posting to be doing a lot more effectively recently, but especially with your existing audience. Like, the whole goal with the ongoing content is not to grow your audience. Like, you'll get some people following you, but in reality, when you're growing a coaching business, it is very niched. And so we're using the ads to grow the audience. And then our middle of funnel, we're nurturing people with our content. So the content that I put out on my newsfeed, the organic content, I'm looking at that as like, this is nurturing my audience. It's not growing and trying to reach new people. You know, if it does, that's just a bonus. So that's how I kind of view that. Now, what we can also do in the middle of funnel is we can either get people to comment or message us a keyword for access to that lead magnet, right? So if you didn't do that straight away in the top of funnel, middle of funnel is where you're going to really start pushing like a lead magnet or training out to people. And what we can do as well, and this is a very, very small budget, like you don't need to spend a lot on this, is we can take some of these pieces and we can turn these into ads as well. And what we can do is we can send this content to people who have engaged with the initial ad, right? So we can send this to people that have watched these initial videos. What we can do is, you know, in Facebook or in Meta, you can create an audience that has, say, watched like 50% of a video, right? Or you might even do 75%. If it's a shorter video, like if it's 1 minute, for example, which a lot of your reels might be, then you probably want to do between 50 and 75%, you know? That's going to mean that you're engaging with the right people. Because if they've watched, if this top of funnel video is really specific to your audience, then the chances are they're not going to sit there for 30, 40 seconds and watch something that doesn't relate to them. So it's a really easy retargeting strategy. The other thing we're going to do is target followers. So super simple. We're going to target followers, right? So all of our followers we can put into this audience as well. And it means they're getting hit with this other content. So, you know, rather than just relying on the algorithm to push it in front of your audience, let's say you have 1,000 subscribers or followers, you might find that organically you post this and 100 people see it, which is not ideal, right? Because that's 90% of your audience that haven't seen it. And so what the ads do is it allows you to push this out to 100% of your audience who follow you, but it also allows you to reach people that maybe have seen some of your ad videos but haven't followed you as well, right? But that's going to be a much bigger audience. One of my clients we set this up for the other week, they had about 500,000 views on one of their videos, but they only had 5,000 followers. So obviously not everybody was following them, but they had a massive audience. And so when we created this, we actually used a 95% video view audience for this one. And the audience was like 150,000 people, right, who had watched this initial video. Versus if we'd have just done the followers, that would have been like 5,000 people. So that was really, really powerful. And it means we could add more stuff in here as well. Like there's not really a limit on what you can put here. You know, you could have 10 pieces. You could have 5 pieces, you could have 20 pieces of content. The main thing is this content is building know, like, and trust with the audience. And there's some things that we can do here as well. Like we can look at FAQs, we can look at objections, we could look at just building, you know, awareness through story. So what I mean by that is people might be aware of their problem, but they might not necessarily be aware of like what they could actually accomplish or the protocol to get there. And so we can share our methodology with people or our protocols with people in these videos so they start to understand it more, because people aren't just going to buy from you for an emotional reason, they're also going to buy from you for a logical reason. And so we have to break both of these down. The other thing on the flip side is storytelling, right? And this is the emotional side, telling your story and how it relates to them, telling your clients' stories and how it relates to them. That's really, really powerful. And it builds more depth, it builds more relationship with people. And so that's really important to have there as well. Then lastly, we have bottom of funnel. So this is where you have, I mean, you can have a few different posts like and test them. You know, you might have a written post, you might have a video, but what we want to do here is we want to break down our offer as directly as possible, right? So if you think about these two, the first two phases, we've got the top of funnel or middle of funnel, we're reaching new people, we're, you know, getting them to understand why they're experiencing the problem they're experiencing. We can talk about some of the results they could achieve. We're starting to plant beliefs in their mind, like it is possible to actually achieve this thing. We're sharing stories about ourselves or our clients. We're breaking down our methodology so they kind of understand the process. Now you're giving them more of a call to action. So you're giving them a direction of like, hey, this is exactly what I can do for you. This is how I can help you. And you know, message me. And well, I mean, you can send people to a link here if you want. You can send them to your Calendly. But for me personally, I like to have a conversation with everybody I jump on a call with. So I always recommend you just have a different keyword here, right? So whatever it is, you might have message me the word coaching and I'll send you through the details, right? And that's going to set up a more intentional conversation. And really, that's how we look at this. So you can have a conversation with somebody who is at this level, right? They're a new follower. You go and message them, hey, thanks for following me. I'd love to send you some resources as a thank you. Can I ask you some questions, right? You could send them, obviously if they DM you a keyword, then they're already in conversation and then you can go into that same process. But these guys are going to be more resistant. They're not really going to know you as well. There's going to be, it's going to be a little harder to take somebody just from this level into a call booking in conversation. It's not to say you can't do that, but it's going to be a smaller percentage of people. Let's say you get 100 people through, you might get 10 people book a call, right? So it's going to be a smaller percentage. As you go further down, middle of funnel, now they're getting hammered with all this different content, right? 5-10 pieces of content to see in your stories, they're engaging with you, right? The fastest way to increase your brand reputation and build this like relationship with people is just having them binge on your content, right? So and the easiest way to do that is push it in front of people with ads. So that's going to speed up the process. And again, as we talked about, we want the call to action here pretty much in all of these content pieces, whether it's a carousel, whether it's a video. The call to action is to message you for a resource, right? So again, that's going to increase intention. If they're messaging you at this stage, there's going to be more intention than if they message you at the top of funnel stage, because they've seen more from you, they understand you, they understand your processes more. So when you do have a conversation with them, you're going to find them a bit easier to book calls with, right? And then lastly is the bottom of funnel, where we're presenting our offer. So when people are reaching out to you, they're not reaching out for a freebie and then we're trying to have a conversation and book them in for a call. They're reaching out to actually learn about what you can do for them and actually booking a call to learn more about your coaching, right? So you're going to get a high percentage of these people are going to be actually taking action and booking a call. Now obviously, in terms of numbers, you're going to get a lot more people at the top of funnel stage. You're going to get less people at the middle funnel, and you're going to get a lot less people bottom of funnel. So it's like we have lower intention but higher quantity of people, and then as we go further down the funnel, it's like we have a much lower quantity of people but we have a much higher intention. That's how we kind of think about this. Now you might be thinking, well, what if I just take this bottom of funnel thing, this offer, and just put it out to people and like don't bother with the rest of it? So you can 100% do that, and that's basically what's called direct response marketing. But the problem with direct response marketing is it's basically like churn and burn, right? It's like a lead is going to take action and book a call, or they're not. And actually, I used to build funnels like this. I used to build like VSL or video sales letter funnels and webinar funnels, and it was very much just geared around getting a huge quantity of people through, and then a small percentage would book a call. But then even then, because the intention wasn't there and the relationship hadn't been built, you're playing a numbers game. So, a certain percentage would watch the VSL, then there'd be a drop off and only a certain amount would book a call. And then even then, like the call show rate might be like 40-50% because they're not really bought into you as much. And then when people are on the call, there's more hesitation, there's more questions, there's more objections. And so that close rate might be like 20%. When you set this up, some of my clients are literally closing at 100%. Right? They're not taking hundreds of calls a month, but the calls they're getting through are super qualified and they're closing at 100%. My own close rate is like 80-90% because everyone I speak to is usually really engaged. They understand what my offer is before I even speak to them. And so it's more of an onboarding call. It's more like just getting them started and a logistical call. And when those people don't sign up with me, it's not because, they're like, hesitant to work with me. It's usually the other way around. It's usually like, well, like I'm not super confident that I can actually get you results yet, because they just might not be the right fit for my offer, and so it's more me turning other people away. And then every now and again I might just have someone who's just not ready to take action yet, which is fine, But for the most part, the people I'm speaking to in this stage are really engaged. And again, like it just means that you speak with less people, but the people you speak to are super qualified. And that's how you kind of tie this process together. Like having all three stages is really powerful. as I say, I've been doing this for years. Like, I used to do this on Facebook specifically because it used to be a much better way to do this. And like my first online coaching business, I basically ran the same funnel for my business on Facebook. And then where I would nurture people was a Facebook group. So I'd run an ad on the front, like these content pieces. Then I would send them to a Facebook group where they'd interact. So they do a 5-day series or a 7-day series of videos. And then they'd book a call, and I'd kind of take them through that next process and retarget them. And that worked really well for a while. And I've used that over the years with different clients. But Facebook in general has become less effective for this. And Facebook groups have become really just like, they've just been a very expensive endeavor to run. Whereas the retargeting kind of options you have on Instagram are really powerful. I'm generally finding that for most audiences, more people are migrating across the platforms as well from Facebook to Instagram. Now, obviously, if you're working with a really young audience, they might be on TikTok, and theoretically you can run this on TikTok as well. However, what you'll probably find on TikTok is you're going to have to do a lot more volume to get to that bottom of funnel stage. So the intention is going to be much lower on TikTok. So it might be cheaper to get in front of people initially, but you need more people to actually go through. So TikTok isn't generally something I recommend, but that's why I always push Instagram. Like, Instagram is such a good platform. It's very rare that Instagram wouldn't be a good fit for your market, right? Like, there's maybe some very, very niche markets. If you have if you're in like a really high ticket B2B space and you work with really specific businesses, then you're probably better off on LinkedIn and just doing that kind of hand-to-hand combat style and speaking to people. But if you're like most coaches and you do have quite a broad market, then, and you need volume as well. You need leads, you need calls, and you have the capacity to launch or grow a group program where you can handle a lot of clients, then Instagram is 100% going to be a really, really good platform for you. And this funnel is going to make a lot of sense for you as well. If you found this video useful, then hit the subscribe. I really appreciate that. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. And if you want this built out for you, then feel free to check the link out below. And it breaks down my offer, because I actually build this out for my clients and manage this. And we get ridiculous results with clients. Like, most typical funnels, people are getting like 2, 3, 4x return on their ad spend. We're getting anywhere from like 6 all the way up to 20x return on ad spend doing this over a period of time, of course. But like, that's unheard of with any other funnel. So if you want to check my offer out, then feel free just to check the link down below in the description. But other than that, I hope you found this useful. Hit subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.